Hi everyone, my name's Katrina and I'm your subject coordinator for HCS321 this session. You may have worked with me before in HCS103. If that's the case, welcome back, and I'm looking forward to working with you all over the summer in this really interesting subject. So within HCS321, we're going to be looking at the ways in which children and young people grow and develop. We're also going to be looking at how adverse environments and experiences can impact upon children and young people's development. We're going to be looking at theories of childhood development, as well as ideas around trauma and grief and loss, as well as really practical ways of working with children and young people within the field. I know that many of you have come from different areas into this subject, and I welcome you all. It's a really interesting and diverse subject that not only has applicability in your professional lives, but also in your personal lives as well. So my own professional experience is primarily within the field of child and family welfare and health. I've worked in both statutory and non-statutory roles within the welfare sector. I live in a really small rural community in New South Wales, and I'm a parent to young children myself. Physically, I'm located on the Dubbo campus for CSU, and I'm generally available Monday to Friday, and outside of these hours on email. You've got to remember though that I am running after my own little people when it's not work hours, and particularly over this summer session we have that nice little 1 week break over Christmas. So if I don't get back to you right away, please just flick me an email, and I'll see it and let you know that I've received it. So I do have some notes here that I wanted to share. No, I think I covered everything there. The next thing I wanted to have a quick chat about is the learning outcomes for this subject. Please make sure you familiarise yourself with these. I've popped them on your front page of the Interact 2 site, but they're also available within your subject outline, which you can now access. So the achievement of these learning outcomes is really quite a collaborative effort on your own part, of course, and mine as well. And as a group, there's a lot of opportunities to learn from your peers and your colleagues within this subject. As I mentioned before, we all come with a lot of different experience and knowledge bases into this subject, and it's lovely to have that sharing of knowledge to, create our thoughts and challenge ideas and thinking around some of these concepts. So the primary ways in which we'll learn within this subject, outside of course, your assessment and that sort of thing, is through looking at the learning modules. So on the screen now I have just a screenshot of the way I've set out your learning modules. For each week or each module, I've popped a little podcast overview in there with the topics for that week as well. If you click on the black hyperlinked underlined module number up the top of that above the podcast, it'll take you into the written content for that week. So in there I've got links to all the readings, some PowerPoint information, and a recorded lecture for each week. So I have pre-recorded the lectures, but you'll notice in your subject outline that I've got online classes too. So I've scheduled online classes about every fortnight, and within those classes we'll discuss the content, but we'll also talk about, any other questions you have or any questions pertaining to assessment and that sort of thing. On the right hand side here, I've popped a little snapshot of what your module content looks like, one part of it, and also the discussion forums down the bottom left there. So it is really important that you engage in these discussion forums. I know things can get really busy over the summer session. It's a condensed session, so we've got less weeks together, and it's a particularly busy time of the year for lots of different reasons as well. But if you've got, you don't have to answer all of the learning activities, but if you've got something to say on a particular topic, or something about that topic, share it with the group, and it can really benefit the learning for yourself and for others. So I did want to quickly address as well in this brief welcome video about assessment. We've got 2 assessments in this subject. The first one is an essay, and that's due on Monday of week 5. The second assessment is a discussion paper, and that's due on Monday of week 11. As I said, our online classes really give us a great opportunity to discuss these assessments and talk about what they'll look like and what we might discuss within them, but also the forums. The forums are a great resource for that too. So I've set up a forum for assessment 1 and assessment 2. So at any stage, just any questions you have, it might be 2 a.m. when you're thinking about something, pop it in the forum, and I'll address it the next day, of course, or one of your colleagues may be able to help you out as well. There are 2 primary texts for this subject. So we've got this textbook, Children, Families and Community, as well as a Trotter text, which is working with involuntary clients. As I noted in the subject outline, the Children's, Families and Communities text is available online through the library, but there's limited access, which means only 9 students at a time can access it. It is a great resource to sort of have on your shelf if you do have the capacity to buy the texts. They are wonderful resources, not only for this subject, but for moving forward in your professional practice as well. So I strongly urge you, if you do have the capacity to purchase them, to do so. Alternatively, there is access. There's quite a lot of reading in this subject, so don't feel overwhelmed when you read the subject outline and it says, 5 chapters from the text. The chapters, actually, some of them are quite short, and, none of the reading is going to take more than over hours per day, if you know what I mean. There are additional readings I've put in the modules which are really helpful in your understanding of the topic areas, but again, not essential. So please do the required reading each week from your textbooks, and then the additional reading as needed. Some things may be really relevant to your learning and some things may not. So you use your discretion there a little bit too. The last thing I did want to touch on was self-care. So within this subject, we do talk about some topics and some issues that can be particularly difficult. And I really just wanted to flag at this beginning stage the importance of engaging in self-care. So many of you will already be doing this within either your personal or professional lives, but self-care really refers to any activity that you do voluntarily which helps maintain your physical, mental, or emotional health. So I know lots of people for their self-care like to exercise or, go out with friends and things like that. I know for me, working and with small kids, one of my biggest self-care things, as terrible as it sounds, is, relaxing and watching something on Netflix, for example. And I know that really, it disconnects me from some of the things happening within the day and is a really nice escape. So it looks different for everybody. And if you wanted to have a chat about that on the forum, that'd be great too. Sharing some ideas of what you do or what works for you. So finally, I am really looking forward to working with you all this session. Session 3 always whizzes by. Please never hesitate to get into contact with me. As I said, I'm available most of the time. And if you don't catch me on my desk phone, please send an email so I can get back to you as soon as possible. All right, and best of luck. Bye.